Grayson had it all this Christmas season: a beautiful wife, Jessica, 3 adorable kids, and his pride and joy, Greg's Place, the cozy family restaurant he had poured his heart into for the last decade. With just a few days until the big holiday, Greg was in full Santa mode. His apartment overflowed with carefully wrapped presents and festive decorations, and he had even splurged on hiring jolly old Saint Nick himself to make a surprise visit to delight little Timmy, Sarah, and baby Noel on Christmas morning. But Greg's perfect holiday was about to implode like an undercooked souffle. As he sat on the couch admiring his Christmas handiwork, Jessica walked in, her face tense and serious. "Greg, we need to talk," she said bluntly, perching on the edge of an armchair. Greg felt a pit form in his stomach. Nothing good ever came from those words. I've been having an affair." His jaw dropped as his picture-perfect life began to crumble before his eyes. Jessica, his college sweetheart, the mother of his children, in the arms of another man. It couldn't be. "It's been going on for months," she continued, twisting her wedding ring anxiously. "I didn't mean for it to happen, but I'm in love with him, Greg. Mike and I are getting married." Rage and despair battled for control of Greg's emotions. Mike Hannigan? His so-called buddy? The guy he had watched Patriots games with and shared beers with for years? "How could you do this to me, to our family?" Greg sputtered, hot tears pricking the corners of his eyes. "After everything we've been through together? What about the kids?" "The kids will be fine," Jessica said coolly. "Better than fine. Mike is a wonderful man and he loves them like his own. I'll be taking full custody, of course, and I'll be keeping the house and my car. It's only fair. You have your silly little restaurant to fall back on." The presents and twinkling lights seemed to mock him now. His family, his future, slipping through his fingers. First his wife, now his children, his home. Was there anything Jessica wasn't going to take from him? Crushed and defeated, Greg threw some clothes into a suitcase, scooped up his golden retriever, Biscuit, and drove through the softly falling snow to his modest country house, 2 hours outside the city. As much as it pained him, he knew he needed to give Jessica space. But as the city lights faded in his rearview mirror, Greg silently vowed that he would fight for his kids, no matter what it took. The next few weeks passed in a depressed fog. Between crashing on the lumpy couch at his rustic cottage and occasionally catching a few restless hours on the worn leather banquette at Greg's Place, he felt anchorless, adrift. Even his beloved restaurant, once his pride and joy, held no appeal anymore. Trendy new bistros and gastropubs had popped up on the block, siphoning away Greg's once loyal customers with their Instagram-ready small plates and craft cocktail happy hours. One evening, as Greg listlessly picked at reheated lasagna and slugged whiskey neat in his cramped back office, his assistant manager, Lori, poked her head in, her auburn ponytail swishing with concern. "Greg, the produce order is here, and they forgot the arugula again. What do you want me to do?" Greg shrugged apathetically. "I don't know, Lori. Just handle it. I trust you. Make whatever decisions you think are best." Lori bit her lip, clearly troubled by his uncharacteristic indifference. "Okay, I'll take care of it, but Greg, I'm worried about you. I've never seen you like this. Is there anything I can do to help?" "Not unless you can turn back time and stop my wife from shacking up with my lying, cheating ex-best friend," Greg said bitterly. "I'll be fine, Lori. I just need some time." But time was a luxury Greg didn't have. That weekend, his buddies Jim and Mike strong-armed him into joining them for a steam room session at the athletic club, hoping to shake him out of his funk. As the thick steam swirled around them, Greg finally let loose, pouring out his anger and heartache. "I just don't get it," he ranted, his face flushed from the heat and emotion. "We had a good marriage, or at least I thought we did. How could Jessica throw it all away like this? And for Mike Hannigan, of all people." Jim clapped a reassuring hand on Greg's slumped shoulder. "Forget that cheating hussy. You're better off without her, man. It's her loss." "Easy for you to say," Greg grumbled. "You're not the one who has to start over at 45. I'm going to be one of those sad old divorced guys who eats microwave dinners alone every night and tries too hard to impress the hot young bartender." Nah, a good-looking guy like you? You'll have the ladies lining up in no time, Mike said. Speaking of hot young things, what's the deal with that smoke show assistant manager of yours? Lori, right? Don't tell me you haven't noticed what a babe she is. Hey now, she's my employee, Greg protested. I can't be thinking of her that way. It wouldn't be right. Mike rolled his eyes. Always such a Boy Scout, Greggy. I'm just saying, she seems super into you. And honestly, with the way you've been moping around lately, she's probably the only thing keeping that joint of yours afloat. Jim chuckled. Yeah, no offense, man. But with how checked out you've been, I bet even the dishwasher could run Greg's place better than you right now. A light bulb went off in Mike's head. Dude, that's it. I've got an idea. Let's make a little bet. If your dishwasher can't turn $1 million profit in the next month, you have to sell Greg's place. Walk away and start fresh. No looking back. Greg's stomach churned at the thought of selling his restaurant, his life's work. But after everything, maybe his friends were right. Maybe it was time to cut his losses and move on. $1 million in a month? Greg scoffed. No way. You're on. The next day, Greg called an all-staff meeting. His motley crew of servers, cooks, and bussers looked nervous as they gathered, bracing for bad news. I know there have been some rumors about the future of Greg's place, he began solemnly. And the truth is, I haven't been at my best lately. I've been dealing with some personal stuff that's taken me away from what really matters. This restaurant, and all of you. The staff exchanged wary glances. Fortunately, I have a solution, Greg continued. I'm going to take a much-needed vacation, and while I'm gone, I'm leaving Gina in charge. A gasp rippled through the room. Gina? The surly, heavy-set dishwasher in the grease-splattered apron? The ex-con with a mysterious past? Greg ignored the murmurs. Gina has been with us since day one, and I trust her completely. She knows this place better than anyone. His mother, Anna, cornered him afterward, her face lined with worry. Gregory, have you lost your mind? Leaving a convicted criminal in charge? Think of the liability. Ma, you always tell me to see the best in people, Greg said calmly. Gina did her time. She deserves a second chance. Anna pursed her lips. I just hope you know what you're doing. So did Greg. To be continued.